Alright, something big just went down for the Raiders, and honestly, this could shake things up. Michael Mayer, last year's top draft pick, is finally back. But here's the question, will his return be the spark this offense needs? And with all the talk around Shedeur Sanders possibly joining the squad, things are getting interesting. So stick with me, because we're about to dig into what Mayer's comeback could mean, how Sanders fits into the picture, and why this might just be a turning point for the Raiders. What's up, buddies? Welcome back. If you are new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We cover all AFC West news here on this channel. So here's the thing about Mayer coming back. It opens up this whole world of possibilities, right? Especially those two tight end sets they've been teasing since preseason. And get this, Coach Pierce has been dropping hints about putting Mayer out there with another tight end. I mean, defenses are going to have nightmares trying to handle that. Now, versatile tight ends are considered like gold, and we've got the perfect setup to really take advantage of that. You know how it usually works, right? You've got that one tight end who's basically everywhere at once. One play he's in the slot, next thing you know he's in the backfield, just creating chaos for the defense. That's exactly where Mayer fits in. Like, he can do what guys like Brock Bowers do, moving all over the place, throwing blocks when needed, making the passing game click. Some people call it an H-back. Basically a tight end who's always on the move. And Mayer, he's got that written all over him. He's going to add this whole new dimension to our offense. Now, your traditional tight end, they're usually stuck doing the nitty-gritty, you know, blocking, chipping, all that inline stuff. And honestly, that's where Mayer can be a game changer too. He's not afraid to do the dirty work, the chipping, the blocking, all those little things that keep an offense running smoothly. Up until now, we've been playing musical chairs trying to fill that role, but nobody's been able to do it quite like Mayer can. His comeback? That's exactly what this offense has been missing, and I bet it's going to make way more of an impact than people think. Let me tell you something about Mayer in college. This guy wasn't just some blocker. He was a serious threat in the passing game. Last season, well, we didn't really get to see everything he could do. Part of that was because he was paired with Aiden O'Connell, who, let's be real, isn't quite on the level of guys like Josh Allen or Jordan Love when it comes to using a tight end's full skill set. Poor guy still hasn't had the chance to play with a top-tier quarterback, but now that he's back, we might finally get to see what he can really do in the passing game. Getting Mayer back, that's huge for us. I mean, sure, the season might feel like it's slipping away, but these next few games, they're golden opportunities to really see what Mayer and some of these younger guys can do. Could we see him form one of those legendary tight end duos, you know, like Hernandez and Gronk back in the day? Or is he going to struggle to live up to the hype and maybe end up getting moved somewhere else down the line? These next few weeks, they're not just about Mayer. We've got other young guys developing too, like DJ Glaze on the O-line. It's funny, you know how rookies are. They usually get better week by week throughout their first season. Watching these guys grow, that's going to tell us a lot about where this team's headed. Speaking of big tests, that Miami game coming up, that's going to be interesting. Last season, we went toe-to-toe with them, only lost by a touchdown. This year, we're hoping to bring that same fire. And you know what? Christian Wilkins actually mentioned something about that game. Said he could feel this energy, this determination coming from our sideline. Said it was something he wanted to be part of. Now, let's talk about something that's got everyone buzzing. Shedeur Sanders. Y'all see what happened recently? Sanders gave the Raiders a little shout-out, and let me tell you, fans are going crazy over it. He was spotted with this cleat, right? Silver and black looking clean. And get this, it had, "Thank you, God," written on the side. Now, some people are thinking maybe the Raiders sent him some custom gear, maybe even for him and his teammates. We don't know the whole story yet, but man, that little gesture has got people dreaming about Sanders in Vegas. Let's be honest here, we need a quarterback going into next season. That's just a fact. And Sanders, he could be that guy who turns everything around. But here's the thing, it's not just about grabbing any quarterback off the shelf. We need someone who can really lead this offense. And, this is important, to get the most out of a young QB, we're going to need the right play caller, an offensive coordinator who knows how to build around that talent. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Sanders might be the fan favorite, but the scouts? They're not all on the same page. Cam Ward is starting to get a lot of attention, might even end up being the top pick. Some analysts are putting Sanders as their number 2, and then you've got others ranking Jalen Milroe ahead of him. Shows you just how stacked this quarterback class is getting. Sure, it's early days, but one thing's crystal clear. Whoever the Raiders pick at quarterback, that's going to be the biggest decision they make for this rebuild. But let's play devil's advocate for a second. What if things don't go according to plan? What if Sanders, Milroe, Garrett Nussmeier, and these other QB prospects end up with second or third round grades? If we're sitting at number 8 overall and can't trade up, well, we might miss out on our top QB choice entirely. Here's another way to look at it. Remember what we did with Brock Bowers? We didn't necessarily need a tight end, but we went for the best player available. Could we see that strategy again? Maybe if someone like Malachi Starks, Mason Graham, or Kelvin Banks is still there. Or what about someone like Ashton Genty? Guy could be a game changer like what we've seen with Saquon Barkley or Bijan Robinson. So, here's the million-dollar question. Should the Raiders skip QB in the first round? Maybe grab the best player available and then target a quarterback in the second if the talent gap isn't huge. It's risky, I know, but it's possible. Some years you only see 1 or 2 QBs go in the first round, other years it's like a quarterback festival up there. And don't forget, those bowl games and playoffs, they're going to shake up these rankings for sure. If you're asking me though, I'm taking the best quarterback with that pick. Right now, that's Cam Ward. He's my quarterback number 1. But man, we all know how fast things can change in this league. Speaking of changes, did you hear about Shane Waldron? Seahawks just let him go as offensive coordinator. I've always been a fan of his work, and it's crazy how things come full circle in the NFL. And let me tell you about this coaching carousel. It's wild. Look at Luke Getsy and Shane Waldron. Getsy goes from Bears to Raiders, Waldron from Seahawks to Bears. They basically traded places. And both the Bears and Raiders wanted Cliff Kingsbury at first, who's now out there making playoff runs. Just shows you how important having the right offensive coordinator is. Without a solid play caller, good luck building a winning team. You know, quarterbacks need that stability, that creativity from their coordinators to really shine. Look at Jimmy G, guy was crushing it under Kyle Shanahan, then struggled with Josh McDaniels. Or Tua, everyone thought he was a bust under Brian Flores, but look at him now with Mike McDaniel. Jalen Hurts? Same story, struggled early, but with consistent coaching. Dude's elite now. And Caleb Williams? Tons of potential, but his recent performance really shows why you need a skilled coordinator to develop young talent. Look at what Cliff Kingsbury's doing with Jaden Daniels. Or how Shanahan went from Jimmy G to Brock Purdy and keeps winning. And Andy Reid? Man took Alex Smith to the playoffs before working his magic with Mahomes. Reid's been doing this since before the Chiefs. Shows how a strong philosophy plus the right coordinator equals a powerhouse. Jim Harbaugh's doing something similar with the Chargers. He might not call plays directly, but his coaching philosophy keeps all his coordinators on the same page. That consistency? It's huge. For the Raiders, finding the right offensive coordinator isn't just important, it's crucial, especially if we end up with a rookie quarterback like Shedeur Sanders. And if we do go rookie quarterback, we gotta be patient. Maybe let veterans like Garoppolo or O'Connell take the wheel for a season just until the timing's right. Look at what happened with Anthony Richardson, Caleb Williams, and Bryce Young. Some of these guys got thrown in too early and struggled, but then you see guys like Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield bounce back with the right coaching. This Dolphins game coming up, that's going to tell us a lot. Right now, we're sitting 5th overall, but depending on how things go, we could move up to the top 3 or even number 1. Dolphins are no joke. They just took down the Rams. So if we can hang with them, that's going to say a lot about where this team's headed. And hey, keep an eye on Scott Turner, our current play caller. If he can get this offense clicking, he might just be our guy long term. Look at Ben Johnson with the Lions. Went from pass game coordinator to offensive coordinator and killed it. Sometimes the right person's already in the building. If Turner shows he's got what it takes, that's huge for Antonio Pierce and our future. So yeah, playoffs might be out of reach, but these games matter big time for our future. What do you think? Is Mayer's return going to change things up for us? Drop those thoughts in the comments.